Hello children, today we are going to study the second part of the chapter, The 100 Dresses. In the first part, we have seen Wanda Petronsky, a poor Polish girl who lived on Boggins Heights, and she joined an American school. She was different from other girls in many ways. Her name was uncommon, she was a quiet girl and had no friends. Not only that, she wore the same pale blue dress every day. She used to sit in the corner on the last, where noisy and rough boys who got low marks sat. There was a lot of dirt, mud, and scuffings of feet in that area. Then Peggy and Maddie were close friends. Peggy was pretty, had curly hair, and wore beautiful dresses. She was the most liked girl of Vanda's class. She often made fun of Wanda by asking her questions about her 100 dresses in a mocking way. Polite voice. Maddie wanted Peggy to stop teasing Wanda, but she could never gather courage to tell her that. She used to feel uncomfortable. Perhaps it reminded her of her own poverty. Wanda, a quiet girl, spoke a lot about her 100 dresses. She told the girls that her dresses were made of velvet, silk, and all. All had different colors and designs. She specially mentioned her two dresses, one pale blue with colored trimmings, and the other one bright green with red sash. Vanda's absence from school was not noticed for 2 days, but on the third day, Peggy and Maddie, who missed the fun of laughing at her, waited for her at the corner of Oliver Street where they used to meet her on the way to school. But Wanda did not turn up and they got late for school. Next day, it was drizzling. Peggy and Maddie did not wait for Wanda. They never wanted to be late for school because they were anxious to know the results of the competition. It was to be announced on that day. As they entered their classroom, they stopped and gasped. 100 drawings of bright and beautiful and differently designed dresses were displayed all over the room. Everyone who entered the room murmured with admiration. Miss Mason announced the result. Among the boys, Jack Boggles had won, and among the girls, Wanda Petronsky. She asked the students to give her a special applause, though she was not present to hear that applause. She had submitted 100 sketches. That means Wanda Petronsky had submitted 100 sketches, 100 drawings, and every drawing was worth winning the best prize. That was the content of the first part. And now we are moving to the second part, and this is how our chapter begins. While the class was circling the room, the monitor from the principal's office brought Miss Mason a note. While the class was going on, there came a note from the principal's office for Miss Mason. Then Miss Mason read it several times and studied it thoughtfully for a while. Then she clapped her hands. She was very much tensed of reading it. So she read it many times and asked the students to keep silence. By clapping her hands, she said, "Attention class, everyone back to their seat." So the complete students were running around the class. Now she asked the students to come to their seat. Something important is there to hear. When the shufflings of feet had stopped and the room was still and quiet, Miss Mason said, "I have a letter from Vanda's father that I want to read to you." So when all the students came to their seat and when they became settled, she said that she got a letter from Vanda's father, who is Wanda Petronsky. Wanda Petronsky's father, and she needs to read that letter to the whole class. Miss Mason stood there a moment, and the silence in the room grew tense and expectant. Everybody became silent. The teacher adjusted her glasses slowly and deliberately. Very softly and slowly she adjusted her glasses, that means specs. Her manner indicated that what was coming this letter from Vanda's father was a matter of great importance. So her mannerism shows that the thing which is in the letter, the thing written in the letter is something important. Everybody listened closely as Miss Mason read the brief note. So everybody listened it very well, and here is the note written in that letter. Dear teacher, my Vanda will not come to your school anymore. Jack also. Now we move away to big city. No more holler Polak. No more ask why funny name. Plenty of funny names in the big city. Yours truly, Jan Petronsky. So what's written? Dear teacher, my Vanda. That means who is writing this letter? Vanda's father, isn't it? So he says, my Vanda, my daughter, will not come to your school anymore. Jack also, Vanda's brother, Jack also. Now we move away to big city. They are moving away from that place itself. Okay. Then no more holler Polak. No more ask why funny names. So nobody will call them Polak. They are from Poland, and that's why some of them made fun of them or teased them by calling Polak. Okay, so no more such names should be heard by my children. No more ask why funny name. Nobody will ask why you have funny names. There in the big city, nobody will ask about it. Plenty of funny names in the big city. It's a big city. So nobody will ask about their names and all. Yours truly, Jan Petronsky. A deep silence met the reading of this letter. After hearing this letter, there became complete silence. Miss Mason took off her glasses, blew on them, and wiped them on her soft white handkerchief. Then she put them on again and looked at the class. When she spoke, her voice was very low. The teacher, Miss Mason, she was so much sad. So, what all things she did? She took off her glass, blew on that, and wiped them with her soft white handkerchief. Then she wore it again and looked at the class and started speaking in a very low voice that denotes that she is so sad. I'm sure that none of the boys and girls in room 13 would purposely and deliberately hurt anyone's feelings because of his or her name happened to be long unfamiliar one. Now the teacher is saying that I'm sure that my children, the students in room number 13, the boys and girls in room number 13 would purposely, knowingly they won't hurt the feeling of others by asking about their names, long unfamiliar names and all. I know that you won't do it purposefully. I prefer to think that what was said in thoughtlessness. So I wish to believe that if you have done something like that, it's only because of your thoughtlessness. I know that all of you feel the way I do, that this is a very unfortunate thing to have happened. So the thing which has happened now is very much unfortunate, unlucky. It might not have happened. Okay, unfortunate, not only unfortunate, sad, unfortunate and sad, both. And I want you all to think about it. So this kind of things should never be repeated in your life, the teacher said to the students. The first period was a study period. Maddie tried to prepare her lessons, but she could not put her mind on her work. So Maddie became much tensed. She can't concentrate. She had a very sick feeling in the bottom of her stomach. True, she had not enjoyed listening to Peggy ask Vanda how many dresses she had in her closet, but she had said nothing. Really, Maddie didn't like Peggy asking such kind of questions to Vanda Petronsky. At the same time, she never stopped Peggy from doing such kind of a thing, isn't it? She had stood by silently, and that was just as bad as what Peggy had done. So she was silently supporting Peggy. So the fault did by Maddie was her silence. And that was just as bad as what Peggy had done. So if we are saying something wrong in someone, we should raise our voice. She was a coward. At least Peggy hadn't considered they were being mean, but she, Maddie, had thought they were doing wrong. She could put herself in Vanda's shoes. So put herself in Vanda's shoes means She could see herself in the place of Wanda Petronsky. So she kept silence at many of the time when Peggy teased Wanda Petronsky. Goodness, wasn't there anything she could do? If only she could tell Wanda she hadn't meant to hurt her feelings. Now Maddie wants to tell Wanda Petronsky that she didn't mean to hurt her feelings. She turned around and stole a glance at Peggy, but Peggy did not look up. Now Maddie is looking at Peggy, but Peggy is really concentrated in her studies. That's why she didn't look up. She seemed to be studying hard. Well, whether Peggy felt badly or not, Maddie had to do something. So Maddie decided, even if Peggy is feeling bad or not, she doesn't mind it. She needs to. That means Maddie needs to say sorry to Wanda Petronsky, and she should do something now. Okay, Maddie decided to do something now. She had to find Wanda Petronsky. That's the thing she decided to do. Okay, she decided to find Wanda Petronsky. Maybe she had not yet moved away. So in that letter it is written that they are moving away from that city to a big city, isn't it? To a big place. So she hopes that still or yet they haven't moved away from them, and she should go and find Wanda Petronsky as soon as possible. Maybe Peggy would climb the heights with her. Heights here denote Boggins Heights, that place. Okay, so sometimes Peggy may also be following me. If I am asking Peggy, she may also be coming with me to see Wanda Petronsky, and they would tell Wanda she had won the contest, and they thought she was smart and the 100 dresses were beautiful. So after seeing Wanda Petronsky, what all things they will say to her? She had won the contest and she was smart, and the 100 dresses which she has drawn were very much beautiful. So she decided, that means Maddie decided to go and search for Wanda Petronsky. The next part. When school was dismissed in the afternoon, Peggy said with pretended casualness, "Hey, let's go and see if that kid has left town or not." So, in a casual way, pretending that she is saying it in a casual way, in a normal way, Peggy said, "Hey, let's go and see if that kid, who is that kid here denotes." Okay, Wanda Petronsky. We can go and see Wanda Petronsky has left the town or not. Who said it? Peggy. So Peggy had the same idea. Maggie glowed. So even though Peggy was not showing out all those feelings, she also had that same tension in her mind. That's why she said such a thing. Maddie became really happy, isn't it? Maddie didn't thought about Peggy in such a way. So now Peggy is also ready to go and see Wanda Petronsky. Maddie glowed. She became so happy. Peg was really all right. Now she is confirming that. So she is assuring that Peggy, she's a girl who does the right thing always. The two girls hurried out of the building, up the street toward Boggins Heights. Now these two girls, who are the two girls going to Boggins Heights now? Yes, Maddie and Peggy. The part of town that wore such a forbidding air on this kind of a November afternoon, drizzly, damp and dismal. Drizzly means a little rain is there. Damp and dismal means wet and sad. Here it expresses a state of hopelessness. So they are moving to Boggins Heights. For what? To see a Wanda Petronsky. "Well, at least," said Peggy gruffly, "I never did call her a foreigner or make fun of her name." Now, in that letter, it was written in such a way. The students were making fun of her name. Now, Peggy is saying that, "No, I didn't do that. I never thought she had the sense to know we were making fun of her anyway. I thought she was too dumb. And look how she can draw. So I thought that all those things which we had done, or when we asked questions, she was getting hurt. I didn't think in such a way. And do you know how beautiful the dresses she has drawn were?" Maddie could say nothing. All she hoped was that they would find Wanda. Now Maddie is keeping silence. She has nothing to say. She just hoped, she just prayed in her mind to see Wanda Petronsky as soon as possible. She wanted to tell her that they were sorry they had picked on her, and how wonderful the whole school thought she was, and please not to move away, and everybody would be nice. She and Peggy would fight anybody who was not nice. So these are the things she needs to say to Wanda Petronsky now. She wanted to tell her that they were sorry. First of all, she will ask sorry for teasing her. Then she wants to say that the pictures which were drawn by her is very beautiful, and the whole school admires it. Not only these two girls, the whole school, that means the complete teachers and students admire her drawings, and it's very nice. Not to move away. And what's the next pleading she does? She'll say to Wanda Petronsky, yes, she'll say Wanda Petronsky not to move away from there. And if somebody will try to tease her, if she comes to school, who will stop? Peggy and Maddie will stop those students from doing such kind of things, and she'll say that they will protect her very well. The two girls hurried on. They hoped to get to the top of the hill before dark. So now they are reaching near Boggins Height. They should reach there before dark. I think that's where the Petronskys live. Petronskys means the family name. Okay, by pointing at somewhere, Maddie said, I think it's there they live, said Maddie, pointing to a little white house. Wisps of old grass stuck up here and there along the pathway like thin kittens. So the surrounding is very beautiful. The surrounding looks like a little thin kitten. Then the house and its sparse little yard surroundings looked shabby but clean. The house and the surroundings looked shabby, very old, but it was clean. It reminded Maddie of Vanda's old dress, her faded blue cotton dress, shabby but clean. By seeing that surroundings, by seeing that house and all, she remembered Wanda Petronsky's blue cotton dress, the dress she wore daily, how it was faded but it was clean. Okay. There was not a sign of life about the house. Peggy knocked firmly on the door, but there was no answer. She and Maddie went around to the backyard and knocked there. So they reached the house and knocked at the door, front door and back door, but nobody answered. There was no answer. There was no doubt about it. The Petronskys were gone. How could they ever make amends? So how will they ask sorry? To make amends means to show that one is sorry by doing something good. Okay. So now that's a question came to them, and how will they ask sorry to Wanda Petronsky? They turned slowly and made their way back down the hill. Now they are returning. Well, anyway, said Peggy, she has gone now. So what can we do? Besides, when I was asking her about all her dresses, she probably was getting good ideas for her drawings. She might not even have won the contest otherwise. That's how Peggy thought. As she asked about the number of dresses she had to Wanda Petronsky, always she was asking such a question to Wanda Petronsky, isn't it? How many dresses you have? So Peggy is saying that as she asked such a question to Wanda Petronsky, she got the idea to draw those 100 dresses. Okay, so the thread of that picture, that means the idea of drawing that 100 dresses was given by Peggy. Who says it? Peggy says. She has gone now, so what can we do? Besides, when I was asking her about all her dresses, she probably was getting good ideas for her drawing. So she got those ideas from me. When I asked her those questions, she thought about that, and as a result of that, she drew all those 100 beautiful dresses. Maddie turned this idea carefully over in her head, for if there was anything in it, she would not have to feel so badly. So Maddie also tried to believe the same, so that she won't be getting sorry for all her deeds. But that night, she could not get to sleep. She thought about Wanda and her faded blue dress and the little house she had lived in. So all those thoughts about Wanda Petronsky made her lose her sleep. Okay, she couldn't sleep on that night. She thought about Vanda, her faded blue dress, the little house she lived and all. And she thought of the glowing picture, those 100 dresses made all lined up in the classroom. And later she thought about those 100 dresses she drew. At last, Maddie sat up in bed and pressed her forehead tight in her hands and really thought. This was the hardest thinking she had ever done. So she couldn't sleep. So she stood up. She sat in bed and pressed her forehead tight and really thought. This is the first time she think this much. She thinks this much hard. Okay. After a long time, she reached an important conclusion. A great decision is being taken by Maddie at that moment. She was never going to stand by and say nothing again. She won't repeat the mistake she did, she decided. Okay. If she ever heard about picking on someone because they were funny looking or because they had strange names, she would speak up. So what's the great decision she took at that moment? If she sees someone being teased because of funny names or because of the funny looks, she will react. She would speak up. She would raise her voice. She decided. Okay. Even if it meant losing Peggy's friendship, even if she is losing that friendship with Peggy, she will do it. She had no way of making things right with Vanda. But from now on, she would never make anybody else that unhappy again. So she took a great decision. She took a great promise on that night that she will never make others unhappy. Next. On Saturday, Maddie spent the afternoon with Peggy. They were writing a letter to Vanda Petronsky. So on the coming Saturday, what Maggie and Peggy did, they wrote a letter to Vanda Petronsky. It was just a friendly letter telling about the contest and telling Vanda she had won. Okay, so a friendly letter has been written, not an apology letter, a friendly letter. They told her how pretty her drawings were, and they asked her if she liked where she was living and if she liked her new teacher. So such kind of things were being asked, just casual things about the place, about the new place, about the new teacher. All those things were being asked in that letter, and they said about that drawing contest and informed her that she won the contest. Then they had meant to say they were sorry, but it ended up with their just writing a friendly letter, the kind they would have written to any good friend, and they signed it with lots of X for love. Okay, so they thought to write a sorry letter, but the letter ended up as a friendly letter, and both of them signed it by writing lots of love, writing their names. Then they mailed the letter to Bargains Heights, writing please forward on the envelope. They don't know the new address of Vanda Petronsky, so they wrote the letter to Bargains Heights, okay, to that place. And they also mentioned please forward. If the letter is not been got to an addressee, it will be forwarded to the new address. Okay, so in such a way they planned and they wrote please forward on that cover, on that envelope. Then days passed and there was no answer, but the letter did not come back. So maybe Vanda had received it. Perhaps she was so hurt and angry she was not going to answer. She could not. You could not blame her. So days passed and they didn't get an answer. Anyway, they believed that Vanda Petronsky received that letter. She might have got that much hurt and that much angry on them. That's why she is not giving an answer. They believed. We cannot blame Vanda Petronsky that much. She was hurt, isn't it? Weeks went by and still Vanda did not answer. Peggy had begun to forget the whole business, and Maddie put herself to sleep at night making speeches about Vanda, defending her from great crowds of girls who were trying to tease her with how many dresses have you got? And before Vanda could press her lips together in a tight line, the way she did before answering, Maggie would cry out, "Stop!" Then everybody would feel ashamed the way she used to feel. So Peggy forgot all those business. That means all these things were being forgotten by Peggy. But Maggie, at the time of sleeping, she'll think about all those incidents again, she'll see Vanda Petronsky in front of her, teased by her classmates. And at that time, she imagined herself coming to protect Vanda Petronsky by saying stop. Okay. So by hearing the word stop from Maddie, everybody will stop teasing her, and everybody would feel ashamed the way they used to feel. Okay. Now it was Christmas time, and there was snow on the ground. Christmas bells and a small tree decorated the classroom. On the last day of school, before the holidays, the teacher showed the class a letter she had received that morning. So the days passed, and it's Christmas time. The classroom is being decorated. The Christmas bells and a small tree decorated. A small Christmas tree is also been set in the class. On that last day of school, before the holidays, for Christmas holidays will be got. So before that holidays, the teacher brought a letter to the class. She received that letter on that morning. You remember Vanda Petronsky, the gifted little artist who won the drawing contest? Well, she has written me, and I am glad to know where she lives, because now I can send her medal. I want to read her letter to you. So, Vanda Petronsky wrote a letter to Miss Mason. Okay. Miss Mason said she's so happy to get her new address so that she can send her medal. That means that prize for that contest to Vanda Petronsky. And now she reads that letter. The class sat up with a sudden interest and listened intently. Very carefully, all the students listened to that letter. Dear Miss Mason, how are you and room 13? How are you and room 13 denotes? Room 13 denotes the complete students in the class. Okay. Please tell the girls they can keep those 100 dresses, because in my new house I have 100 new ones all lined up in my closet. So you can say to the girls in the class that they can take all those drawings, because I don't want it back. I made another 100 new dresses. I would like that girl Peggy to have the drawing of the green dress with the red trimming, and her friend Maddie to have the blue one. So she mentioned the name of Peggy and Maddie specially, and she said that a special drawing which she has done with a green dress, that green dress should be given to Peggy, and one another dress with a red trimming, it should be given to Maddie. Okay, and her friend Maddie to have the blue one. Sorry, to Maddie, that blue one should be given to Peggy, green dress with the red trimming. Okay, so it is to be given. So she specially mentioned these two girls. For Christmas, I miss that school, and my new teacher does not equalize with you. Merry Christmas to you and everybody. So I miss that school, and I miss you a lot. Okay, my new teacher does not you can't be replaced. Okay, in such a way she says a new teacher does not equalize with you. New teacher is not like you. And she wished Merry Christmas to you, to the teacher and everybody else in the class. Yours truly, Vanda Petronsky. On the way home from school, Maddie and Peggy held their drawings very carefully. So especially mentioned the drawings were being got to Maddie and Peggy, and they held it very carefully. All the houses had wreaths and holly in the windows. Outside the grocery store, hundreds of Christmas trees were stacked, and in the window, candy peppermint sticks and cornucopias of shiny transparent paper were strung. Cornucopias means decorative containers. So as it is Christmas time, the complete place, even the shops, not only houses, even the shops and the street, everywhere is completely decorated with hundreds of Christmas trees are the then candy peppermint sticks, cornucopias of shiny transparent papers were string. Then the air smelled with Christmas, and the light shining everywhere reflected different colors on the snow. So it's snowy. At the same time, everywhere it is decorated. Boy, said Peggy. Peggy called Maddie. This shows she really likes us. It shows she got our letter, and this is her way of saying that everything is all right. And that's that. Okay. So really now they became so happy of knowing that she got their letter. And this is the way Wanda Petronsky answers. She says, it's all right through this letter. I hope so, said Maddie sadly. She felt sad because she knew she would never see that little tight lipped Polish girl again and couldn't ever really make things right between them. Really, Maddie hoped to see Wanda Petronsky again, but now she realized that she can't see her again. That tight lipped Polish, that means always Wanda Petronsky kept silence. She always kept her lips tightly closed, isn't it? So she understood that, she realized the fact that she could never see Wanda Petronsky again in her life to make all the things right. She went home and she pinned her drawing over a torn place in the pink flowered wallpaper in the bedroom. The shabby room came alive from the brilliancy of the colors. So she pinned that drawing in her bedroom, and the room itself, that shabby room, became bright. Maddie sat down on her bed and looked at the drawing. She had stood by and said nothing, but Wanda had been nice to her anyway. She became a little relaxed now, because Wanda Petronsky is not at all angry on her. She understood it. Tears blurred her eyes and she gazed for a long time at the picture. Tears filled her eyes and she looked at that picture for a long time. Then hastily she rubbed her eyes and studied it intently. Then she rubbed her eyes and looked at that picture once again. Very carefully she looked at that picture once again. The colors in the dress were so vivid that she had scarcely noticed the face and head of the drawing. So, as the dress was drawn that much beautiful, she didn't notice the face which is being drawn about that dress. But it looked like her, Maddie. It really looked like her own mouth. Why it really looked like her own self? So, in that picture, the face of Maddie is being drawn. Now only she found it. She noticed it now only. Wanda had really drawn this for her. Excitedly, she ran over to Peggy. So, that excitement, that great happiness, in that great excitement, she ran to Peggy's house. Peg, she said, let me see your picture. What's the matter? Asked Peggy as they clattered up to her room where Wanda's drawing was lying face down on the bed. Maddie carefully raised it. Now she took that picture. Look, she drew you. That's you, she exclaimed. So in that picture of Peggy, the face of Peggy was being drawn by Wanda Petronsky. And the head and face of this picture did look like Peggy. What did I say? Said Peggy. She must have really liked us anyway. So now Peggy and Maddie understood that that girl, Wanda Petronsky, liked them very much. Even though they tried to tease her always, they were the only one who waited for her. And they were the only company she had, Wanda Petronsky had, isn't it? So that little girl liked Peggy and Maddie a lot. That is being shown through this drawing. Yes, she must have, agreed Maddie, and she blinked away the tears that came every time she thought of Wanda standing alone in that sunny spot in the schoolyard, looking stolidly over at the group of laughing girls after she had walked off, after she had said, sure, 100 of them, all lined up. Now Maddie's eyes are filled with tears whenever she thinks about Wanda Petronsky, that little girl who answered the questions of those children in the class as, yes, I had 100 dresses. Whenever she thought about Wanda Petronsky, her eyes got filled, Maddie's eyes got filled, because Maddie loved Wanda Petronsky that much. Anyway, it's a beautiful story of 3 children, Wanda Petronsky, Maddie and Peggy. And here ends the chapter. Children, please read the textbook completely and take down the notes and study it today itself. Thank you.